that was involved in the whole thing. So justice is what we need.
The only daughter of
So young girls, I will advise them to mellow down, to be under their parents. Anything they want, they should ask their parents.
Parents have to take care of their children, especially the female ones.
Please, supposed to be a lesson to other girls for them to concentrate and focus for the benefit of their family.
The country where we dey now don't dey corrupt, so nobody to blame. The girl don't fall victim of circumstances. 18 years, we don't reach 300 levels. She's sad or she know what is good and bad.
In the meantime, the management of the University of Port Harcourt says it will not rest until justice is done in the matter. The Dean of Student Affairs at Uniport, Chima Nwokocha, said this during an interview with correspondent Martha Okere. Mr. Nwokocha said the school is embarrassed by the act.
I want to assure you that the university will not try to stop the process of law, and the university is also worried about its image with this kind of incidents. And the Vice Chancellor insisted that justice must be done.
The Uniport Dean of Student Affairs also called on parents to always advise their ward and children against the urge for quick wealth.
They should caution their words. This thing about quick wealth, this thing about relationships, it didn't used to be like that in those days. People used to be serious about what they were doing. You see a girl of 19, 20, and she has strings of lovers. I mean, to what achievement, what benefit, what gain? And so I implore parents and guidance to try and caution their words and control and monitor their words. And if they see their words doing things that aren't, they should report immediately to the university authority if they're in Uniport, or to the police, so that these kind of things can be curbed.
Earlier, our correspondent who visited his apartment off NTA Road in Port Harcourt observed some policemen were stationed around the house of the suspect, Damian Okoligwe. Our correspondent also noted the uneasy calm around the area. Some of the residents there declined to speak to our correspondent. It was also gathered that the suspected killer recently moved into the building, which was opened last weekend. Some students say the suspect lived in Omagwa before relocating to his new apartment. A security man in the area spoke to our correspondent on this.
Yesterday night I was on duty. I don't hear even just like someone scream, nothing like that. But we do patrol reach that area. Only this morning I hear that thing. It was last week they opened the house. Last week Saturday. I don't know them in person. I only know the house. When they opened the house, we all went there for celebration. But the particular person, I didn't know him one-on-one. I do responsible for guiding Road 18, Road 19. That is behind the building. This particular estate get their own community boys that is guiding them. Not to wait.
Meanwhile, the police yesterday paraded the suspect, Damian Okoligwe, over the alleged killing of his girlfriend, Justina Otwene, at his residence along ATA Road in Port Harcourt. The River State Commissioner of Police, Nwunye Emeka, said Damian is a 24-year-old 400-level petrochemical engineering student at Uniport. CPM said the dismembered body of the late Justina has been deposited in the mortuary.
When the DPO led detective to the scene, on arrival, the door was forcefully opened and the gunner must go back containing a lifeless body was recovered. And the boyfriend of the victim, also an occupant of the house, the prime suspect, was arrested for an inquiry.
The police commissioner also expressed suspicion that the suspect's intent is for rituals.
Suspect. The intent was for ritual, because when you begin to dismember some particular parts of a woman, person you call your girlfriend, we always know what it ends up to be. However, investigation is still on a high gear, and we'll keep you communicated on the progress of the investigation. I also want to repeat that committing crime in our society is a collective job. I am calling on the residents of the states to be open and supportive of security operatives in fighting crime and criminality.
The suspect, Damian Okoligwe, spoke to journalists.
And I was trying to get rid of her body because I was thinking in my head that if I report this thing now, that I will surely be blamed for everything that is going on. So I was trying to wrap her body and then get rid of the body, which was very wrong of me to do. As I came back that Wednesday to come and wrap her body, that was the Wednesday that the whole police issue came about. I took the wheelbarrow from the security guy because I wanted to use the wheelbarrow to dispose the body.
In a related development, the Commissioner of Police, Nwunye Emeka, says a combined surveillance team in Obirikom Oba Ebema Ndoni local government area arrested 5 suspected cult members involved in the killing of late SP Bako Ambashim.
On 25th of October, a combined surveillance team was on a routine surveillance patrol at the OBB gas plant Obricom on Elga. 5 suspects are presumed to have a hand in the death of the late DPO of Ahoda, SP Bako Ambashim. They were brought to the area command Omok with the following items: 2 locally made guns, 3 live cartridges, and 1 wrist charm.
Correspondent Mekotoka reports that the River State CP also paraded One Happiness and Einaya Ihukumere, also known as Dr. Haji, for child trafficking in Iguruta community, Ikwe local government area.
Following a case of abduction reported on 9th of September by one Ijoma James in Awalama, Rumokoro in Port Harcourt, police detective from Special Area Division under Intelligence, one Ifesinachi Opera, was arrested, which also led to the arrest of One Happiness, Enyinaya Ihukumere, aka Dr. Haji, to whom he sold one of the children. Further investigation led to the recovery of 3 more children trafficked by Dr. Haji from different locations of the country, 3 from Benue State.
In another development, the chairman of Andoni local government area, Erastus Awoto, has donated another batch of security patrol vehicles to security agencies in the area to enhance their operation and sustain the existing peace. Speaking during the presentation of the vehicles at the council secretariat in Ngo, Mr. Awoto said the move is to help the security agencies respond quickly and effectively to crime. He also attributed the successes recorded in the fight against crime to the deliberate and decisive action of his administration and security agencies.
Those that are in charge or saddled with the responsibility of maintaining law and order, you have to keep supporting them as a government, because without them, without the police, without the civil defense, without the army, or without the DSS, there's nothing we can do. We are making this public presentation to also let the world know that the fact that Andoni has recorded a reduced crime rate is not by accident. It's by deliberate efforts of this administration and the security agencies to ensure that Andoni is a place where people can be and live and do business.
Mr. Awoto also advised politicians against politicizing issues of security in Andoni.
Security is an important business. Nobody should play politics with security. It's a collective thing that all of us, in our conduct, in our aspirations to occupy offices, we should not politicize security, because that is the only thing that gives us guarantee that we can come home and live peacefully and go back. So I advise our politicians to leave security out of politics, out of their aspirations, and let us collectively build Andoni. Because if Andoni develops, it's for all of us. Our youth will progress.
The Attorney General of River State and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Zacchaeus Adanda, who presented the vehicles to the security agencies, commended the council chairman for prioritizing issues of security and welfare of the people. Our correspondent reports that the Andoni Council Chairman Erastus Awoto also donated a utility bus to the National Union of Andoni Students. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has appealed to Nigerians to have a positive outlook about the country. He made the request while reacting to the ruling of the Supreme Court, which affirmed his victory in the 2023 presidential election. President Tinubu said the ruling has put an end to distractions trailing the election, and it is now time to build Nigeria.
The judgment of the Supreme Court put a stop to shenanigans, put a stop to innuendos, put a stop to lies or trial in the media and public place. The court has demonstrated indivisible commitment to rule of law and humanity, and their commitment to do justice for all Nigerians, regardless of ethnic, religious, or any other biases. So we use the strength of our diversity to build a stronger and prosperous Nigeria.
In the meantime, former President Muhammadu Buhari said the ruling of the Supreme Court has reaffirmed the will of the majority of Nigerians against the determined will of a hard-fighting minority. Also, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike congratulated the president on his victory.
Governance is about everybody. It's not about a party. It's not about an individual. And if we do not come together now, then we'll have ourselves to blame. Opposition is not, you don't oppose for the sake of opposition. Elections are over. Litigation is over. All litigation must come to an end. Now is the time for governance. President, the APC, and all rightful members of the society must come together, no matter what party you belong to address the issue of governance.
Meanwhile, some Port Harcourt residents say the Supreme Court judgment which upheld the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the presidential election has established a significant guide within the Nigerian judicial system. They told our correspondent that the ruling will serve as a point of reference for evaluating the credibility of those vying for public office in the future.
So whatever that has happened now is entering into history. These people give judgments now, say whether certificate or not certificate. No, that in future it don't start. It will be unstoppable if they will not stop it now.
We already know that there is nothing that will come out of the judgments. Secondly, is to give him his turn, let him rule as he say his turn.
But what do you expect from the Nigerian judiciary now? All the evidence that the court say, see him go. No, I'll make him go now.
Moving on, the board chairman Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project Hypre Mike Wielagi has welcomed the Supreme Court verdict that upheld the victory of President Bola Tinubu as the democratically and constitutionally elected president of Nigeria. Dr. Wielagi, a philanthropist, said the Supreme Court did justice to all issues brought to it for determination in the petitions on the merit of the law, without any form of intimidation and sentiment. He said with the judgment, the electoral jurisprudence and democracy are further strengthened and consolidated. He said the judgment has laid to rest all forms of argument over who truly emerged winner of the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria, and that the coast is now clear for the president to concentrate and deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians and to build a greater and prosperous Nigeria. Dr. Wielagi also called on all Nigerians at home and in the diaspora to give the president support that will enable him focus on delivering his electioneering promises. He said he is optimistic that in the days and months ahead, that the current administration will improve the living standards of Nigerians. The PDP says the Supreme Court verdict affirming President Bola Tinubu's victory in the 23rd February election is disappointing. In a statement, the spokesperson for the PDP, Debo Ologunaba, said the party and the majority of Nigerians are concerned with the reasoning of the Supreme Court, which he said is against the Constitution, the Electoral Act 2022, and the guideline and regulation issued by INEC under which the election was conducted. Also, the chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Albure, says the judiciary has failed to defend the people's voices. Speaking in a press briefing after yesterday's ruling, Mr. Albure claimed that the judiciary has been hijacked. Mr. Albure also claimed that the government plans to sponsor false reports against some leaders of the party, including its presidential candidate, Peter Obi. Mr. Albure said the Labour Party will not fail to play the role of opposition.
The government have marked some Labour Party key leaders, myself especially, and our presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, for vilification in order to suppress the party and our goal of a new Nigeria. I want to answer categorically that we will not partner with the government. We are going to stand and play the role of opposition. And I want to challenge the government that they should be on their feet and be ready. We therefore call on all our members and the obedient family to be vigilant and brace up for the challenges ahead.
Still to come, court lifts prescription ban on IPOB. Stay with us. National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will conduct 11 by-elections in relation to the Commission's consultative meeting with the media. Professor Yakubu explained that the vacancies arose from the death as well as the resignation by some of the elected officials for political appointment. He also expressed concern about the rise in water levels and security during the November off-cycle election.
We're keeping our eyes on Bayelsa and Oud, because in 2019 in Bayelsa, the water level was really very high. And so in some local government areas, our officials and the voters actually operated inside water, sometimes to kill up. In Kogi, because of the release of water from Cameroon, there are some communities on the river bank that may be flooded. So 2 weeks ago, we visited Kogi, I visited Kogi, and we went all the way to controlling unit in Ghana. And this is an area that is really prone to flooding.
The Senate has confirmed Musa Aliyu as the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. Mr. Aliyu was confirmed after a screening exercise in a closed session by the lawmakers yesterday. The Senate also approved the appointment of Saka Suleiman and Gaji Dantata as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission. Now, a high court in Enugu State has ruled that the proscription of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, by the Southeast Governors Forum is illegal. Recall that in 2017, Southeast Governors Forum prescribed IPOB activities. The development led to the federal government listing IPOB as a terror organization 3 days later. However, IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, through his lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, approached the courts to seek the reversal of the prescription. In his judgment on Thursday, Justice A.O. Onovo declared IPOB prescription unconstitutional. He also ordered the defendants to pay him 8 billion naira for damages and to tender a public apology to him through newspaper publications.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
India says it is exploring all legal options after a court in Qatar sentenced 8 former Indian naval officers to death on unspecified charges. Reports say the 8 men who worked with a private company in Qatar were arrested on spying charges last year. Neither Qatar nor India has revealed the specific charges against them. On Thursday, the Indian government said it was deeply shocked and will take up the verdict with Qatari authorities. As you may know, millions of Indians live in the Gulf, where they work as semi-skilled and unskilled low-income workers. Now that's a wrap on the news this morning, but before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. The family of the murdered female student of Uniport are demanding justice. The police have arrested 5 suspects involved in the killing of SP Bako Ambashim. Supreme Court's ruling has sparked mixed reactions. INEC says it will conduct 11 by-elections to fill vacant positions. A high court in Enugu State has lifted the prescription ban on IPOB, and on the foreign scene, Qatar has sentenced 8 Indians to death on spying charges. The news was edited by Martha Okere Nkem. You can see pictures or watch videos of news stories when you like us on Facebook and follow us on X at Nigeria Info PH. On Instagram, it's at Nigeria Info FM_PH. For any eyewitness report and breaking news, text and send your WhatsApp pictures and videos to our news desk line on 0808-721-7215. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Ifechukwu Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.